dreams about the West and started to roam. 6 long months on a dust-covered trail. They say heaven's at the end, but so far it's been hell. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. We were digging and shifting from 5 to 5, selling everything we found just to stay alive. Gold flowed free like the whiskey in the bars. Sinning was the big thing, Lord, and Satan was a star. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. And blood lined the streets. Men were shot down for the sake of having fun, or just to hear the noise of their 44 guns. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. Now my widow, she weeps by my grave. Tears flow free for her man couldn't save. Shot down in cold blood by a gun that carried fame, all for the useless and no good, worthless claim. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. Waiting for me there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, YouTubers and friends, how are all of you doing on this fine, chilly night, Tuesday night? At least it's chilly up here. Tonight we have Gold is Where You Find It, formerly known as Rookie Gold Prospector, and we'll get into. I want to talk a little bit about the name change and other stuff, but last time Aaron's been on the show. I don't think he even had 2,000 subscribers, and now he's blown up pretty quick. He's 14,000 plus. I believe he said that earlier, but you know me, guys. I'm blonde and I'm getting old. I have CRS, but like to welcome each and every one of you. GoPro Unlimited, David V.I., Brian Kennison from New Hampshire. And who asked about, can you keep the gold up there? Gold Hunter, uh, that's New York. The Keene's Law, I believe they call it. New York, just tell them you throw it back, let it grow bigger. And no, I didn't find no gold, that type of thing. But I hear they're trying to change it. Mr. Lodak, the world's greatest moderator. iCast Enterprises, welcome. Don't think I've ever seen you before, but welcome. Graveyard Prospecting, Pacific Northwesterner. I saw Damon in the house. West Coast Prospecting, are you still in here, brother? You better be. Bold Lion, thank you for stopping in. All these awesome people. Bill, good to see you. Ohio Relic Hunter, always good to see you. And Brad Welsh, always good to see our Aussie friends in here too. Now, I'm gonna hop over to the other set. Hey, Robert Dupati, how you doing, brother? We need to get your polar bear ass in the river so we could find some gold that isn't in Ohio. Ohio's like Utah. We have no gold here. So don't bother coming here. We don't have any. But I've been talking to Aaron for a while. You know he's been on our show before. If you haven't seen that show, I'll post a link somewhere later and you can watch it. Maybe I'll put it up here in this corner right here. Yeah. and you could watch that episode of Tuesday Night Hangout Live. But for now, we're going to get this party started, head over to my other backdrop, and have a nice sit down with our friend Aaron. Gold is where you find it. Be right back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night, Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night, Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night, Hangout Live. With your host, Ed Marvin. Tuesday Night Hangout Live is a Flash in Your Pan production.
Make sure I get Aaron's mic unmuted. Actually, Brad, I have an envelope for you with stickers and a card. Sorry, there ain't no mushy stuff written inside. Actually, I sealed it up. It was a long night after work. I shoved them in the envelope, Brad. And I sealed it, and I forgot to write something on the card. And one to Terry Marshall. So I have 2 envelopes heading to Australia. I hope they don't get lost or confiscated like some other packages I've sent there. Thomas, how you doing? Pennyweight, Paul C, good to see you. Hobo Rob, how are you? Lucky Ducky Thomas, folks, good to see you, Pennyweight. Always a pleasure, my friend. What's that? No mushy stuff. Don't let our secret out, mate. Aaron, my friend, how are you doing this time?
I'm doing great. How about you, Ed?
I'm doing awesome, brother. I'm
Right.
doing awesome.
All right. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Oh, next time I go into my content, well, I'm going to post up a link to that last episode in the corner. So I'll find out.
Right.
I'll let you know. It was a year ago, I think it was. That sometimers is a real pain in the head.
Sometimers? Is that what you said?
Sometimers.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's like CRS, but not as frequent. You know what CRS is, right?
I'm feeling uneducated right now.
Well, when you get older, like 62, like I am, or as old as dirt, like Toledo Jazz, you'll understand it, and you'll be on the creek and go, CRS, duh, it's can't remember shit. Beep.
Oh, I've been having that for a long time already. So
and
yeah, I've been
instead
hitting
of
the head too
like
many times.
and sometimers, it's not quite Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Alzheimer's, it's
Yeah.
sometimers.
I got you. It's just, it's a new one. I've never heard that one. Cool. Well, glad to be here.
Ed has a cold hat on and shirt. Oh well, I know Aaron very much. I believe you have a pretty good relationship with my friend Bill Brewer at Brewer's Prospecting in North Carolina.
Yeah, we've talked. I've never actually met him in person, but yeah, we've communicated. I bought my Mercury retort from him actually, so we communicated about that, and then some other things that we have in common that I can't quite speak about at this current moment. Well,
That's fine.
yeah,
Sometimes there's stuff we just can't talk about.
just how it is. Yeah, it's
Um,
classified. Yeah.
no, Bill's a good friend of mine, him and his wife. They've been a real good supporter of the channel for many, many years. Also, big support of goldprospectorspace.com. But Carolina Gold Prospectors, great place. I agree with you, Gold Hunter. And Mine Lab, hey, I'm a Mine Lab guy. So, yep, top secret stuff, Graveyard, top secret. Georgia
Yeah.
Gold is tiny too.
Yeah, iCast was saying you needed to come visit Georgia because this Tennessee gold is small.
Hold on one second, everybody. I'm being interrupted again. Who
It
would have
happens.
who would have thought? Yes, honey.
Take a picture of me.
You want me to take a picture of you?
Trying to look at the chat, but it's delayed.
Yeah, there's a little latency. The chat will be more on time with us than strike a pose, girl.
See,
Okay.
I've heard there's nuggets in Tennessee actually. So
In the right area, you'll find nuggets everywhere. But
Kofi
as
Creek
we
is
all
what they say.
know, fine gold, there's more fine gold than any other gold.
Oh yeah, yeah. Some places just have ridiculous amounts of fine gold. Like here, I think is uncommon. Well,
Yeah, I wasn't lucky enough to find any southeast nuggets, but I did get a lot of finds.
yeah. I mean, I've only found one piece ever that I would classify as possibly a nugget, and then other than that, pickers. But out of all the hours I've spent digging, haven't found any nuggets. So that should tell you a little something about Georgia. But I'll find that fat nugget someday. Might not be in Georgia, but it'll happen if I keep looking.
Thomas Pennyweight is wondering where is he from? Where are you from?
So I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri, and so I'm not a native Georgian, but I've been here since 2017. So I'm claiming Georgia these days. But I lived
Yeah.
here for a long time before I even knew that gold was even here. So
Well, it was the southeast. It was the Carolinas, I believe, where there was a gold rush 20 years prior to the California gold rush. Reed Mine is a famous southeastern mine.
yeah,
And they had, what was it, a 22-ounce nugget, quartz nugget as the
boy, in the Carolinas.
doorstop for, it was used as a doorstop, so legend goes, for
Yeah,
years until a geologist saw it. And then that started kind of a boom. But all the old timers went out west for the California gold rush.
yeah. I mean, I've learned quite a bit about the history of the Georgia Gold Rush since I got into this hobby. I didn't know anything about it before I got into the hobby. In school, all they taught us was about the 49ers, but 1828 is when the gold rush started in Georgia. So They say the North Carolina gold rush was before the Georgia one, but I guess it wasn't a major gold rush, they say. But yeah, I mean it was huge in the starting 1828 up until 1849 when they went out west. But yeah, I mean there's still a lot of gold here. It's weird because everything's private property. Um and out west, you have claims and you can prospect claims and make claims. Here there's none of that. So
A lot more public land too that's not open to mineral entry, but you can still prospect on. And
yeah,
out here, our public lands, it's acquired land by the U.S. Forest Service. So they claim since it's acquired land, isn't all land acquired? But
at some point.
they call it acquired land, and they because of that you're not able to file claims on it and blah 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 blah. I just think it's a bunch of bureaucratic BS. Hold on one second, please. I gotta address some people. Jersey Ray Diggs, how are you doing, Sister Rach? Jim, how are you doing, Rock Butcher? Let me see. I know Ronald
Put a curve in
Hobby.
my. You
I
want to put a curve in my bill?
I know Hobby. Now, uh, there's a thing with using the term recreationalist or hobby, especially out west. I I I think it's something that should be curbed and used the term like small scale miner, because during the court hearings for dredging in California, they say recreationalists and hobby prospectors, they have no rights under the 1872 Mining Act
Yeah.
that was mm, granted by Congress to the miners for exploration and mining. So once you declare yourself a recreationalist or a hobbyist, you forfeit those rights. If
Yeah,
I
it's totally different
understand,
here.
if I understand the English better.
It's the exact opposite here. If I did not explicitly say I'm just a hobbyist, then I wouldn't be able to dig for gold at all. The
Oh,
only
really?
people the only people that can dig for gold in Georgia are hobbyists. So there's a recreational mining exemption that does not require a permit for hobbyists that want to pan for rocks and minerals. That's pretty much verbatim what it says. And so if you're not a hobbyist, then you'd have to have a permit, and you will never get a permit. So if you want to dig for gold in Georgia, being a hobbyist is the only option. So I say hobbyist over and over and again, just because I don't,
Well,
to
and
cover my butt.
as you
Yeah,
know, in our lifestyle, because you have to say prospecting is a lifestyle for you. You can't
100%.
deny it.
No, it is life. Yeah.
now,
Prospecting is
now,
life.
um, it's a shame that the bureaucrats get away with that. But now you could actually own land and have a mine, right?
So you can own land, and on your land that you own, you can do recreational mining.
Well, what about, well, then again, that's the Carolinas with like, oh, where does JP go all the time? Thermal City Gold Mine
We have a
and
couple
Lucky
things like that, but
Strike.
those are tourist mines. So like the Cresson gold mine in
Well,
Dahlonega.
yeah, But
places like that.
that's been an active mine since the 1800s, and if I remember right, Tammy and Tony,
Yeah,
that stamp mill, cool stamp mill too,
yeah.
is the only running stamp mill left in the state of Georgia.
I'm sure it probably is. I mean, there's one like in the middle of town that operates on some water wheel. I mean, it's not used to crush rocks, but yeah, they use theirs to crush rocks.
Yep.
For sure. It's not their primary method of crushing rocks. They've got some more modern stuff that they use primarily, and then they fire that one up for demonstration purposes. So they keep it in good working order. It
Yeah.
is pretty cool, but yeah, there's easier ways than using a stamp mill.
Now, it's the consolidated mine too that's in Dahlonega also, right?
Yeah, the consolidated mine was just specifically an underground mine.
Right.
So yeah, you can take tours and actually go underground at the consolidated gold mine.
Do they
So
still mine it?
no, yeah, that one there's zero mining taking place at all.
So
So
it's just strictly tours and stuff.
just tourism only. So there's the Loud Mine is kind of like a pay to play type of place. I've never even actually been there, so but I guess that's
I
what it is.
all of my trips I've never been to the consolidated either. I've been to Chris on mine a couple of times, had a really good time meeting. I Do you know Michael from mypanforgold.com?
Don't believe so.
He's out of Georgia, but
No.
when Jesse and I went down to the southeast, we met up with him and his wife, and we went to the Cresson mine. I got to have a nice long talk with Tammy and meet Tony and the girls. Um, really nice people, really nice people.
Oh, 100%.
It's a
And yeah,
shame they got broken into. Did they ever catch the people that broke into their store?
not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. I haven't heard anything additional about that. So I don't know.
Well, that
Um,
really sucks.
yeah, I mean that has to be hard. It was one of the daughters that was there running the store by herself when the guy came in and put a gun in her face. Took out like a whole bunch of nuggets and a bunch of I don't know exactly what they took. I think they took jewelry and nuggets and then like pay dirt and stuff. So they just took a bunch of gold. But like if they ever try to sell gold, I mean, it's pretty easy to identify where the gold came from. So they would have to like either refine it or who knows. I mean, I don't even know what they would do with it. They'll get caught eventually.
Well, I hope they
Hopefully.
do.
Yeah, that's not cool. Yeah, I actually went there. I don't know if I was going there to pick up another snuffer bottle or something that exact same morning. And then they're like, "Oh, we're closed. We're closed." I'm like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And they had just gotten robbed. Like, it's terrible.
Well, isn't the one of the daughters is like a black belt?
I don't
She,
know about that. I don't know
oh,
about.
when I was there, they had a bunch of pictures of her in competition martial arts.
All right.
And I could have swore she was wearing a black belt. I could be wrong. It's been a while. I'm old. I do have some timers
How
in
long ago were you
CRS.
here?
A few years ago. Probably about
Before.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Somewhere
Uh,
around there. I'd have to check.
did you make a
Guido!
video? Did you make a video about it?
I might have. I'd have to look. I have over 1,000 videos, so yeah, I'd have to look. I think I did some stuff down there. I think I did. Um,
If the
But
Explorer's here.
yeah, Wes is
Hello,
here.
Wes.
Maybe Thomas too. Guido's here.
All right. All right. Let's see. Some people haven't smashed the like button yet. I noticed that.
Well, shame on you.
So you guys better get on that.
Right, right. Uh, well, congratulations, Aaron, on the growth of your channel and
Thank you, sir.
everybody who uses a lot of shorts. So shorts helped him grow. For some reason, it does that.
Uh, it's just a different, people are consuming media a different way these days. You know, it's a completely different audience that watches your full length video. You know,
True, and
it's
if you can transition some of the short viewers into long format viewers, that's even
it's difficult. It's difficult. That's what I'm finding is that the long format isn't really growing. Didn't really grow that much at all when the shorts caused the, you know, the big growth.
right,
So the long forms are staying pretty much the same way they have been all along. But yeah, steady growth though. Slow and steady growth, except for those couple big jumps just from like all it takes is just that one short that
right,
just hits that magical formula, whatever that magical formula is, and then you know it causes the other shorts to blow up alongside it. So and you get subscribers, but are they the ones that always come and watch the videos? Probably not. But that's
right,
okay. It's just a different type of person.
right. And if you put out plenty of shorts, you could break up long form videos into a ton of shorts and, you know,
Yeah, you can. See, I don't really like to stage videos. So like I'm not thinking about, oh, I'm gonna make a short. I'm just
well,
recording everything
you're
I'm doing.
recording everything, so you could take
Yeah.
shorts from that
Yeah,
long
exactly.
form and
Yeah. I could probably make more, but I just pick out the one or two things I thought were cool and then only make one or two shorts. I probably could have made more, but I don't know.
it's your channel. You're the
Yeah.
director. You're the
The algorithm
producer.
weird.
You're
Yeah.
the star. You know, it's but congratulations about your growth and
Thank you.
the transition from rookie gold prospector. You're getting a lot. You're not quite the greenhorn you once were. And yes, gold is where you find it. I've used that quote many of
Yeah.
time.
A
Uh,
lot of people do. Yeah.
what's the story behind your name change?
So not everybody was happy about it. Some people that have kind of been supporters for a long time, they were kind of upset. But I mean, when I first named my channel, I wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be a YouTuber. I was the guy who's like, oh my gosh, you mean I can go dig for gold? Oh shoot, I'm gonna record this. You know, what am I gonna call it? I didn't put any thought into it. I'm like, well, I've never dug for gold before. So, you know, that's what I named the channel. I recorded my first ever time looking for gold and
Mm-hmm.
made a video and it just make videos ever since. So I didn't really think long term. And I just think like there's a segment of the population that would never watch my videos because of the name Rookie. So I don't think was really going to lose viewers by changing it from Rookie Gold Prospector, but the
Right,
chance of maybe bringing in new people, since I actually feel like I have knowledge to share, that's not something most people would look for from a rookie. So there's teaching opportunities that I feel like I have information that I can pass on. And if people aren't watching my channel because they think I'm a rookie, well, they might be somebody who was interested in the hobby and may have joined if they watched my video and saw that they could do this in Georgia like I did. I mean, that's how
right,
I got started, was watching somebody else's YouTube videos and then realized, well, you know what, I could probably go do that too. So
right. A lot of people that's happened that way, or they watch Gold Rush White Water or Gold Rush, and they're like, oh wow, hey, I could do that.
Yeah.
Heath Dottie, Grandma Kelly, good to see you. Terry Curry, MJ, Moto Mining, Joseph, how you doing? Thanks for coming.
So hey, I got a question for you, MJ. So is it a separate? So who's MJ IRL? Is that a different person that I see in the gold videos?
That's the same person.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought, but I
Only
didn't know.
Pan's MJ is MJ in real life.
That's what. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. That's what I thought, but I didn't know. So that way,
Yeah,
you know, when you come
and
by, I can say hi and I know who you are.
she answered
So,
me.
yeah.
She's another Washingtonian.
All right. But yeah, I just thought it was a cool saying. Gold is where you find it. To me, it kind of sounds like something that Yogi Berra would say, like "It ain't over till it's over," or that
Right.
sort of thing. I don't know if people aren't going to pick up on the baseball references,
It's not
but
over till the fat lady sings type
yeah,
thing.
yeah. But
So,
anyway, it's kind of a nonsense statement. Gold is where you find it. Well, of course, gold is where you find it. I mean, it's also where you don't find it. But anyway, what does it even mean? It really just means to me that, you know, it doesn't play by the rules all the time. So you can tell
right,
somebody, don't look over there, look on the inside bin. But there's no gold on the inside bin. It just happens to be on the outside bin this time because gold is where you find it. So, and then there's a movie also from 1938. I don't know if you've seen that. It's actually in color, which is crazy.
we
And
talked about this before, and I
yeah,
am, and I haven't watched it yet.
yeah, the opening scene is really cool because you can see them actually gold mining, and they're doing it the old way. They got the hydraulic giants and they're hydraulic mining, and then they got their long tom sluice boxes shoveling into it. So it was a pretty cool scene, but the movie itself isn't really about gold mining. It's kind of the farmers versus the gold miners. So
Right,
um,
during the hydraulic times, and
yeah.
yeah,
So
it was the miners that put a stop on it in the first place, the mining districts, because they were choking the rivers and causing
yeah,
flooding in the lowlands.
and
And
that's what I think the movie's about. Yeah, yeah. So then they shut down the hydraulic mining eventually. Um, yeah, it's really destructive way to go mine. I'm surprised they still do it in Alaska. Did you know they still hydraulic mine in Alaska?
yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Klondike, Alaska, and
Yeah, that it's still illegal there.
well, technically, I don't think it's actually really illegal.
No, it's
I,
legal.
no,
LEGA.
I
Yeah.
mean, in more places than just that, I just think people don't do it. I've had this
Huh.
discussion before with a miner that's really knowledgeable and stuff, but and Brian Wilder, American Gold Prospectors, says they still hydro in Chicken, Alaska.
Ah.
And I thought it was totally illegal, except for like in the Yukon, and
Huh.
I was told different. I could double
I don't know.
check on that.
I'm sure people don't always follow the law either, so there might be stuff going on where it's not supposed to. But
Yeah, but unfortunately, stuff like that makes us all look bad.
yeah, it does. It does. I mean, I understand up there when the ground's frozen, they can't work. So, I mean, I saw them do that before on Gold Rush, where they just use the hydraulic giant to just melt the pay, so they could, you know, sluice it normally.
Well, back in the day, they used to. do drift mines, and they'd bring it up to thaw out. They'd use hot steam to thaw it out and dig, bring it to the surface, and then during the warmer months, they'd run it.
Hmm. Yeah. But anyway, that was a cool scene in the movie to be able to see that in color actually taking place in the 30s. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like in the movie, what is it, High Plains Drifter? It's a Clint Eastwood movie. It's supposed to be during the California Gold Rush. Um, and he's a reverend, I think.
Hmm.
And Clint Eastwood, who is it? Moto Mining, help me with it. But then again, High Plains Drifter, there's a miner in that too. But they were doing a lot of hydraulicking in that. So, but Hollywood at a certain time could get away with murder. So, um, eh,
Hey, Brewers Prospecting is here. American Gold Prospectors is here too.
Jeffrey.
Hey, Brian, you heard us talking about you. And then he joined the stream. We were literally just talking about you. We're explaining something about hydraulic mining in chicken.
Yeah, I highlighted his comment on it.
Oh, that was his comment from earlier. I didn't know he was in the chat. I thought you were talking about when he was on your show or like previously.
no.
Oh, in the chat here. Oh, okay. I'm slow. I'm behind. Oh, cool.
Brian's another good friend of mine. Great guy. Let me see. Rock Butcher Jim. He's a geologist. Works a lot with mines. He says that in the Yukon they use to drill and pump steam underground to melt the pastry in the winter. Yeah, kind of like what I was just talking about when they did the drift mine and stuff.
Drift
Also,
mine into the permafrost.
yeah.
Yeah, it's cool
Uh,
stuff.
oh, that's a good movie too, Moto. Paint Your Wagon Red. It's not Paint Your Town Red, it's Paint the Town Red. It's Paint Your Wagon Red, I believe. Uh, Another Clint Eastwood movie, and Lee Marvin. Oh, that was in High Plains Drifter? Okay. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Carrie said she saw mosquitoes. I saw mosquitoes this past weekend too. That's in December. It's crazy.
Not me. They're all dead now. Terry Marshall, how you doing? G'day. G'day, mate. How you doing? Um, Starting a YouTube channel focused on gold prospecting. We all know it can be an exciting venture. What motivated you to create it? We know why
What
you
motivated me?
changed your name. And how has that journey been since launching in just 2 years ago, December 2021, when you
Yeah.
launched your channel?
Yeah. Yeah, I launched my channel I think it was like right after Christmas when I got my first gold pan for Christmas. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to go out and pan for gold and make a video. So I made my channel, but I didn't actually find my first piece of gold till like January 9th. And that's when I made my first video. So it's almost my 2-year gold anniversary. But
I like that gold anniversary.
Yeah, yeah, the anniversary of first gold.
Right.
But what motivated me is just how much I enjoyed watching other people's channels. I thought it was cool. I'm like, I could probably do that, and then it's not an obligation to make more videos, but it is a motivation to go out and gold mine every weekend. Because let's be honest, like if I didn't have this channel, would I really be going every single weekend to gold mine? Probably not. I mean, it'd still be a cool hobby, but
Right.
I wouldn't have got this deep into it. I wouldn't have learned as much as I have if I hadn't created a channel. So, and once it got going, I just was like, well, might as well keep going. So we'll see. I enjoy it. It getting to share it with other people. It's a cool activity. I love the lifestyle, and I find it interesting, and people seem to find it interesting to watch. So yeah, I mean, it's fun stuff.
Right. I I like it, or wouldn't be doing it this long, huh?
When you when you come to Georgia, so I think you need to pack up. You got a dredge, right?
Yeah, it's a small one. It's only a 2 inch. I got rid of my 4 inch, but I'd love to get another 4 inch dredge.
Well, I mean, you can bring your 2 inch up here. I got lots of places for you to dredge. So if you ever are going to come to Georgia and you want to dredge, I'll take you to some spots.
No Tell'em Creek, right?
All the spots where I dredge or can dredge, they're all private property. And
Right,
so it's not like somebody's going to come steal your spot. If they do, they're trespassing, and that's probably not a good idea in Georgia.
right. It
Yeah,
wouldn't be a good thing.
people tend to take their property rights kind of seriously around here. So
Yeah, and if there's a purple post, don't even think about going in there. You might not
a
make
purple
it out.
post, what's that? I've never heard of that before.
What?
I don't know what purple posts mean.
Really? Really?
Plausible deniability, man.
Let me say thanks for the super chat. Thanks
You
for the
just ruined
super
it. See, before
chat.
today, I could have claimed I didn't know what a purple thing was, but now there's proof on camera. He knew what a purple paint was, so I can't
Uh-oh.
I can't claim ignorance now.
Oh, man.
You ruined it, Ed.
Sorry, bro. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I've never come across it. I haven't. Most people have like a no trespassing sign, and people usually put a lot of no trespassing signs if they don't want you there. So it's usually pretty obvious if somebody doesn't want you there.
Right. I have to admit, I see more purple markings in the Carolinas and Tennessee and stuff than I did in Georgia. But
Yeah, never heard of it. I've never seen it, never heard of it. I knew that there was a way to mark trees. I didn't know what color it was. I thought somebody had said orange,
uh,
like orange on trees. I don't know. If you see paint on trees, somebody did it.
right.
So
Well, ICAS Enterprise said they passed that law in Tennessee just a few years back. Let's see what he says.
with the purple paint,
He says before that, gold is where you find it. 5 million views since 21 isn't bad either. No, not at all. Not at
yeah,
all.
like 90% shorts. But yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. It slowed way down, but I don't really care. I'm not like paying attention to it. I'm just going to keep going. It's going to grow, but if you attach yourself to trying to figure out the algorithm, it'll drive you crazy because
I kind of stopped trying to get into it
yeah,
too much.
yeah. I mean, it's like an entire science to figure out what works on YouTube. So I haven't figured it out. I think it's just dumb luck.
Right.
that you make a video that whatever that certain element is, you just happen to hit it that one time, you know?
Well, there's a question for you from Gold Hunter 77 out of the Pacific Northwest. Is Aaron self-taught or do you have a mentor?
Oh my goodness. So yes, be the answer to that. So um I learned on YouTube. So I learned from watching all the other YouTubers. So before I even actually went to the creek for the first time, I knew a lot about gold, a lot more than the average person. Yeah, and now I was, of course, going to be awkward panning because that's a muscle memory thing. But I kind of knew what to do. I kind of knew how to dig. I kind of had an idea in my head of big rocks, big gold, little rocks, little gold, inside bends, things like that. I'd
Right.
watched it. And so I kind of got obsessed with it. So I learned from that. And then once I started making videos, most of the people that watched them at first were old timers and experienced miners. A lot of them got bad backs or bad knees and they can't dig. And so they think it's cool to watch somebody else dig. And so there were a lot of people that got really excited to be able to teach me stuff. So um yeah, that was pretty cool to learn from all the old timers that were too old and had to stay home because of their back.
It pays talking to the old timers.
Yeah. So I learned a lot from them. And then several other YouTubers have been mentors to me. Multiple of them have been in the chat, like Damon from West Coast Gold Prospecting.
Great
Um,
guy.
got a lot of advice talking with him. I tell you who's I have to give a shout out to is Ask Jeff Williams because
Oh,
that guy,
Jeff. Yeah.
yeah, I just happened to be in his Patreon. And so whenever I have a question about geology or I'd basically say he's my mentor. Just because he's made himself accessible to me through his Patreon. He responds when I ask him a question and he's been super helpful. So definitely learn from him. Um, definitely learn from Matt, the prospecting geologist. I got to give
Oh,
him a
yeah.
shout.
Matt Hosper.
You
Great
know it.
guy.
He's
Great
been on
guy.
the show. He's been on our show. Of course, Lost River Gold. I learned a lot from him. Wouldn't even be in the hobby if it wasn't for him. Because his video was the first video I ever found that was somebody getting gold in Georgia. Before seeing his video, I didn't know anybody did that. So as soon as I saw his video, I reached out to him and was like, "Hey, and so he kind of encouraged me to get going from the very beginning as well." So I mean, there's been several people. Not one person I would say, "Oh, this is my mentor," but I've learned from a lot of different people, but also I'm usually by myself when I'm mining, so I'm learning by experience as well. So I'm kind of self-taught, and I also have lots of mentors.
Well, experience is the best teacher, really. So I think you're doing good. I enjoy your videos, Aaron.
Thank you.
They're they're entertaining and informative.
I might
But
say the wrong thing sometimes,
don't
but
we don't we all? Yeah,
but if
there
I
was
say the
one time you almost fell down when you slipped. I was hoping for a prospector shuffle, but
I made a good recovery.
yeah,
I've
doggone it.
fallen a lot of times off camera. Don't worry. So
Oh, yes, Hobo Rob. There's a guy to pay attention to very
yeah.
much, especially for out west, is Two Toes.
Oh yes. Oh, I can't believe I
Gary's
forgot Gary.
oh
Gary's
yeah,
the he's the
can't
OG.
yeah,
Yes,
you're
sir.
right there, Gold Hunter. Gary is an
Woo!
OG, that's for sure.
Gary does not get the credit he deserves. Two Toes. I mean, if you want to learn about gold prospecting and you know absolutely nothing, all you do is go to Two Toes channel. You'll learn. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
everything
can't
about it. You
if you
learn how to
don't
pan, learn how to sluice,
now
learn how to crevice. Yeah.
there's Gary, Jeff Williams. If you don't learn from either one of those two, something's wrong. But Joseph brought up one also. He's from down under. Chris Bogus,
Oh yeah, I've watched all.
Bogus
Yeah.
Prospecting. I really like Chris's style of videos, and he always gives kind of a lesson with it and
Yeah.
explains it really good. I'm not a very good teacher myself, so I just kind of go through the motions and do it.
No, Chris, he's been made himself available too. Like if I've had questions, he's good about answering messages. So
That
yeah,
he
I've talked with
is.
Chris. I've talked with Chris before. He's given me some helpful advice for sure as well. So, and of course, I've gotten a lot of advice just from watching his videos. So,
Right. Hey Brad, Rocky Mountain Prospector, Randy, Scotty, Tony, how you doing? And oh, did I even acknowledge you, Ronald? Sorry if I didn't, but I know you were pretty much on time tonight. Thanks, Ronald. Hey Frank, Looters 8, good to see you. Um, and Mr. Lodak, way back. Yeah, I know the news. And no, but I missed the Sunday show, but still, I brought it up anyway. It ain't the first yet. Okay, now, as your channel's relatively new, and what has been some of the most surprising or unexpected aspects of building and growing your community on YouTube?
one of those most surprising aspects. Um,
Or unexpected. Yeah.
I guess I didn't really expect there to be as much of a community as it was. Never having been around gold prospecting, it's like everybody wants to teach what they know. So, if you listen to anybody that's in the hobby, you're going to learn something that you didn't know before, more than likely. And um, I don't know if I'm communicating that properly, but the community was something I didn't really expect. To It was a nice surprise. So everybody's been great. A lot of the people who follow my channel religiously, I mean, that's been great. I didn't expect to have people that supported me that way. So I'm not sure I answered that question that well, but you caught me. That wasn't a softball question. That was
Sorry. Hey,
it,
hey,
surprising aspect. What
I'm
was the
not
most
CNN here
surprising?
talking to a Democrat. We ask the tough questions sometimes here at Tuesday Night Ain't Out Live.
What was the most surprising aspect of having me on your show today?
Did you ever think you'd grow this fast?
No, I didn't. I mean, it's literally, it's like you look at your analytics when you're making videos. I'm sure you do the same thing. And like when you first put up a video, you'll look at it, then maybe a few minutes later you'll hit refresh, and then maybe a few minutes later you hit refresh, and then boom, it's got 30,000 views in like 10 minutes. And it'll just shoot straight up, and then the YouTube shuts off the tap, and then it'll barely trickle after that. But
Right.
it'll just have like this 15-minute period where just like it just goes up crazy. It's weird how it works. It's like they put it out in blast. But that was real surprising when I hit that refresh button that one time and saw like some crazy number. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. So that was a pretty good feeling. My
Right.
social credit score went up. uh,
Good night, Jim. Now, I'm sure this has happened to you in the past. And if it hasn't, I'm sure it will someday. How many times have you been approached? Like, I know you. You're Aaron.
oh yeah, I
Oh
mean,
man, I can't believe I ran into Rookie Gold Prospector or Gold is where you find it here on the river or blah, blah, blah.
it hasn't been that many times. A handful of people. You mean just basically that recognize me out and about?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's been a few for sure. But mostly like at when I'm shopping at the Croissant Mine, people have noticed me there before. And well, at the club property, which I don't really know any of the club members. Like there's like 6 club members that I know out of like 4,000 people. So I haven't met most of them, but a lot of times when I'm, oh yeah, I watch your videos. But other than that, it's not like a lot of people
uh,
recognize me.
Funny, Ronald, I can't highlight your comment. It isn't in my other comment box, but Ronald, Radio, he says, I met Ed on the river. Yes, you have. And
Yeah,
actually,
people.
a lot of my current friends are all results from my YouTube channel. And ones I know personally and been digging with Dano, Gary, Two Toes, Smith's Gold, Damon, Jerry
Man, I'm
from
so jealous.
California Prospectors, or California Motherlode Prospectors, Jerry, Bedrock
I'm
Bennett,
jealous.
Top Cat, Jeff Brewers of Brewers Prospecting, JP Lunds and more, PA Patriot Prospecting.
You dug with all these people?
Yeah,
Man,
more or
like I know
less.
I know all of them,
Heath
from the
Doty
community.
Adventures. I've met him on the river. And
PA's never come to Georgia. What's up with that, PA?
I'm surprised I haven't met Indiana Gold Getter Randy Scotty Tony, because he's in Indiana and we go to some of the same places. But one day I know he will. And that Ohio Relic Hunter,
Yeah.
Jesse choked him at a gold show.
Choked him.
Yeah, they were playing. He's like,
Oh,
ah.
oh, okay. All right.
I
Yeah.
want to meet D-Land. I hope he's doing better, Rob. But I'll be out west again. You bet your sweet asses, my friends. I'll
David
be
wants to
out
know
west
my
again.
Kodak moment.
Yeah, what's your Kodak moment?
So it was and I made a video of it. Like I walked down into the creek, I climbed down the bank, I was at hike for a ways and I just like, oh, this looks like a good spot to go down into the creek. Climb down into the bank. As soon as I get into the bank, I look and there's a deer in the middle of the creek, literally just chilling. Like, and I'm already pretty close. And she just doesn't move. And I just kept creeping slowly and slowly and slow. I got almost to the point to where I could reach out and touch this deer
Oh, that'd be
before
cool.
before she finally took off. It was pretty cool. So yeah, I
Can you,
made a little video about that.
oh, you got it on film too, huh?
Oh yeah, I got it on film. Yeah.
Sweet,
Yeah.
sweet.
It was cool. It was pretty cool for sure.
Or
Yeah.
prospecting, hello. AUR Prospector, Merry Christmas. Did they ever catch Chris Owens Mine Thief? No, they haven't yet. We were talking about it a little while ago too, and that's a
PA.
shame.
PA, what
Tony,
kind of dredge you got?
who?
PA Patriot Prospecting says he wants to bring his dredge. What kind of what size dredge you
I
got
think
there?
he has a 2 inch like
I
mine.
see. You gotta at least come with a 4 inch. Yeah. No.
Well, I'll have another 4 inch with there. If not, I'll borrow I'll borrow Thomas Pennyweight's dredge. Or hey Brian, let me use one of your dredges. You have like 3 or 4,
Oh,
8
that's
or
what we need to
10.
do. I think we need to have an episode of American gold prospecting in Georgia, with a big dredge. So, Brian, why don't you bring that dredge down here and
There
so we
you
can
go, Brian.
do some real dredging.
Real dredges. Oh, come on. You're talking to a man that's dredged the. Have you seen some of the nuggets that guy's pulled out of Maine? Oh wait, there's no gold in Maine. Um, or he has many hours behind the nozzle. Uh, but hey, you never know. He's a traveling man. He might just take you up on that.
I, I've only done it a couple times, and it was really fun. I really enjoyed it.
Did you do
Um,
that with Will and Justin?
no, they had just got um the little their green high banker that they use.
Yeah.
They had just gotten like the dredge thing for that. So whenever I did a collab with them, they had just started dredging. So it was like maybe like their second dredging video ever, when I was up there with them.
Okay.
And yeah, no, I just used my little adventure sluice when I was in North Carolina. So, but we were at a pretty good spot for sure. So I only ran a couple buckets and I got good gold up there in North Carolina. But yeah, it's a lot of fun dredging. I enjoyed being underwater. I want to do that a lot more, but I mean the expense. I'm not big enough on YouTube. Once I make some money on YouTube and I can afford to buy a dredge and a truck to haul my dredge with, then I'll be out there dredging a lot more. I promise that.
Yeah.
I can't justify the expense right now.
Even a
Otherwise,
two,
I would love to.
even a good 2 inch is a pretty chunk of change. Or like
And yeah, I'm
PA
just not gonna
has
do
a
that.
2.5. But I miss my 4 inch. I miss air. And
That's what I want. I've
yeah,
never done it with air. I've never done it with air. I've only done it with a snorkel. Um, and so yeah, that's a whole. But I've never been scuba diving before either, so I'm not
even with
scuba
the
certified.
snorkel, it's nice. You're laying
It's
down.
so cool. It's so cool. It
Yeah.
really is.
But
Yeah,
air, when you're totally under, 2 feet, 3 feet, 5 feet. The deepest I've been dredging was 15 feet approximately. It's nice. You have fish hanging out around you, and I know you would love it, hands down.
I would love it. I would love it. I really enjoy the type of prospecting that I do too. I kind of like the feeling of um like the pioneers, like the old timers were just out. What were they doing? They were wandering around with the pan and a shovel, trying to feed their family with the pan and a shovel. So I think I learned more that way.
Well, you do give a really good point, like especially during your last premiere the other night. You're talking about you can't just go out and throw your high banker anywhere. It's not worth it in the long run. You need to of course, I'm paraphrasing,
No, I mean you're
but
right. You're right.
you got to prospect and find your best gold. Then, like where you found that one thing off that slough, where
Hmm.
It was like topsoil, then you had gravels right on it,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
right above that decomposing bedrock.
Yeah. It pretty much is like soil now.
And where you
Yeah.
got that nice chunkier piece out of
Yeah.
many of empty pans or just a couple of fly poops, you know.
Yeah.
And then you talked about here I could.
It sucked me in, Ed. It sucked me in. I couldn't resist, and I paid the price.
uh,
That
gold
that one
gold
little piece. No, I did. Spoiler alert! I did do some high banking there. I had somebody come bring their high banker there, and I'm like, there's got to be more of that chunky gold. Yeah, but I mean, it definitely wasn't. It was worth it to know. I wanted to know what was in those tailings piles.
Okay,
So,
now finding that one piece there. Can we have more of a spoiler? Only here on Tuesday Night Live will you get this information.
no.
Um,
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't know.
was it worth bringing in the high banker? I take it maybe
Um,
no,
no,
since you said
not
it
in terms of
sucked you
the
in.
yeah, not in terms of the amount of gold. So, I wanted to dig there regardless because I just wanted to know what was in those tailings. So at least now I know. But like you said, I had those test pans that barely had anything or like one or two tiny colors. And then I get that one piece that I can feel. I'm like, oh, there's got to be a lot more of those in there. So,
Yeah, that was
that
almost a picker.
yeah, that ended up being the spot that we set up at, and we ran for, we only ran for a couple hours before we stopped and checked to make sure just to see. Thankfully we didn't like run for 2 days on worthless material or anything. I know
Right, thank
people do
goodness.
that sometimes. They come for a weekend camping trip and they just set up and then they run for 2 days. At least we didn't do that. We ran for 2 hours. And we got some gold, but it wasn't. It definitely, it was worth the learning experience because I wanted to know what was in those tailings.
Right.
But I'm sure there's tailings piles that have ridiculous amounts of gold in them too. So,
Well, is
um,
there any way to find out, like, certain parts of Washington, Oregon, California, you can find out who worked it. Were they Mexicans? Were they Chinese? Were they slaves? Or were they regular like sourdoughs, and stuff? Because if it's a Chinese worked area, I would say chances
they got the
are
rocks clean.
they're very thorough. They know their shit. Beep.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
good luck. Um, but you never know. Everything misses gold, even with our technology
yeah,
today with mediums. And what were they using back then? Burlap
yeah,
and other makeshift riffles and stuff. They didn't have expanded metal. They didn't have miner's moss. They didn't have dream mat. They didn't have hog mat.
no,
So they were using burlap. Bur, and some of the riffles and bigger sluices were actually railroad uh, rails and stuff, just stacked in and stuff. So,
the interesting thing about this place where these tailings are, and I really want to do an interview with the guy because the same exact family that started mining that land in the early 1830s
yeah.
is the same exact family that owns it today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the property that we lease, it's still the same family. And so they have all those records of exactly what part was mined where, they did this
Ooh,
in these years with
you
these
need
miners.
to. Yeah. Have
I
you
don't think
ever
they want to
met
share
them
that.
and talk to them about
I
it?
have not met them yet. I have to go, I have to get the club president or one of the club board members to introduce me to this person, and I'm not sure how much he's going to want to tell me. I mean, because he knows where all the mine shafts are. Like, there's mine
Right.
shafts all over that place, and like they filled stuff in and covered it up. And being in Georgia, everything gets covered in new layers of topsoil and leaves and stuff so quick that the stuff that they filled in 50 years ago, you're not even going to know where it is. But yeah, I'd like to interview him and find out, because he'll know exactly, because after World War II, when World War II broke out, they just stopped. So where's the virgin ground? Because they didn't finish mining it out. There's virgin ground there. I don't know exactly where it is. He does.
There has to be somewhere, and he
He knows
does.
exactly where it is. He knows exactly where it is. I'm sure he's got all the paperwork from the 1830s all the way up until World War II.
Just
So
be cool. Hello. Good to see you, Greg, AU Diver. Let me see. What else can I?
Brewers, Jeff, you're going out west?
I think
Going to the Yuba. You
uh,
said,
they're talking about blue leads, nugget hunt on the North Yuba River at Union Flats. That's
yeah.
where Tim has his claim. I've had the pleasure of being on the river with Tim a couple of times myself. But um, it's getting bigger and bigger, Aaron. And guys come down from Washington, Oregon. Damon will be there. I know JP Lonzimore was there last year. Vendetta, Mike Vendetta, so many people,
Yeah.
MJ,
No, I
um,
need to. When is this taking
Banshee,
place?
Top Cat, Bedrock Bennett, tons of them.
When is this taking place?
It's the last weekend in July, I believe.
Gold Hunter, my best gold take, most I ever got in a day was just over a gram. And I do have gold to show you, yes.
Oh yeah, I should have known that was coming. Jeff, I surprised you didn't bring up gold porn yet.
Gold Hunter's on it.
Oh, your birthday too, MJ, July 27th.
All right.
And I know Brad's gonna be there from Australia too. He already has his reservations there.
Wow.
I really want to, Brad. I really want to. If I don't take any my last bit of vacation by the end of the year, I'll have 4 weeks worth of vacation available. So I just have to come up with the scratch for the airline ticket.
Yeah. You got a year. Well, not a year, but you got some time.
Uh, GoPro Unlimited said no, but the gold porn was on my mind. It'll show some, I promise you. Thank you. I hope you feel better, Deej. Thanks for coming. Um, and I always appreciate your support, sis.
I got a snuffer bottle. I'm keeping it underwater because there's some amount of mercury in here, so I just keep my gold in the snuffer bottle now instead of in a glass jar. Because I get paranoid that I'm like breathing mercury vapors.
It would have to get warm. If it's cold, it's not gonna bother you too much. Just don't eat it.
I'm trying not to eat my gold, I promise.
Don't want to take a mercury coated nugget and hold in your mouth like you would raw gold. You
Yeah.
know.
Although some of us still have mercury in our mouth right now.
Well, yeah, depending on their dentist. um, Aaron, do you keep your gold separate to each river or all together?
I just keep it all together. So this is like a half ounce approximately right there. So it'll give you guys an idea of the size of the gold that I get here. Is so tiny. Very little big gold.
One
So
day you'll find that nugget.
no, I will.
PA, I'd fly into Sacramento. It'd be the cheaper and of the airports and the closest one to the North Yuba. Um, other than like flying into Reno and driving down. But I would drive into Sacramento. I'd go to Top Cat's house. I'd go to the shelf and I'd grab my vacuum because I'd want to take my vacuum. But if anyone wants to use my vacuum, if I can't make it, you're more than welcome. I'll let Top Cat know. Do you hunt rocks and gemstones also? Gold Hunter asks.
Yeah, so I've just recently kind of been getting more into it. I think it's kind of a natural progression that, once you get into gold, then you start learning about geology, and then it just kind of comes with the territory. So yeah, I've gone out to Graves Mountain a couple times, and made some videos, and went with Justin from Lost River Gold this last time. And yeah, I mean, you're not going there for gold. You're looking for rutile and iridescent hematite and quartz crystals and lazulite and cool minerals like that. And I had a lot of fun doing that. But yeah, I've only done that in Georgia. I'd like to go different parts of the country where there's some cooler gemstones. I found rubies. I found a lot of cool garnets, clear red ones sometimes. But I found a couple little small ruby chips. Um, so yeah, I enjoy that. Let's see. Don't fly into San Francisco.
No.
Or
Brad's flying into Frisco, then
yeah.
up to Yellowstone for 4 days, then back to San Fran, then up to Yosemite, and then drive to the North Yuba from Yosemite, then thinking of Hawaii on the way home. Sounds
So
like a nice trip, Brad.
must be retired.
No, he
Either
works. He's
yeah.
just one of those rich Aussie gold miners.
Uh,
He's a or he has a real rich wife or something. I
uh,
don't know. I know he's
that's
a
cool.
good guy. That's all I know, really.
MJ, MJ, I would love to go. My summer vacation times are pretty much already spoken for the most part. So, but I mean, it's just how many days is this event?
It's a weekend.
It's just a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really probably wouldn't even have to miss much work if I just came for the weekend. And I could fly. Yeah. I mean, I could probably find a way to maybe take 1 or 2 days off.
Well, you take a day or two here, and you take a day or two here, and then you have the weekend. That's
Yeah.
how I usually do it. I'll take like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and a Monday and a Tuesday. And but I do like I said, if I don't use any more of my vacation, I get 3 weeks a year, right?
Yeah.
And I've only used 2 weeks. So and then what occurs on top of that too, but I used most of that for sick days. What does Brad say? I don't know about rich. Doing 2 jobs to get there, mainly scrapping money, adding yes, cash and a bit of gold. Ah, okay.
Yeah, I could bank
GoPro
for
Unlimited, donate me all my gold back so I could raise some money. Just kidding. Just kidding, Jeff.
Yeah, PA says it's only 550 round trip. Man, I could use that. I got my eye on a Coupel furnace for 650 though, so gotta have priorities. I think that's the next thing I want to buy is a Coupel furnace. With like the tabletop ones, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, is
I want one
it
of those.
be
I
a
want so if
electric
anybody has
one?
used them. Yeah, because you know that to Coupel you have to have a stable temperature, right? And so yeah, that's definitely what I want. And then I want to make a button with this, but the gold is so small. If I tried to hit it with a torch, it would just disappear. So, um, I can melt it in the furnace, no problem.
I have a quick kiln that works pretty good for flour gold and fine gold.
Hmm.
It uses propane, two nap gas torches, and if you watch Chris Bogas at all or
Yeah.
Bogas prospecting, he uses what I have. It's
Okay.
and it has some graphite cupels and graphite molds and
Yeah. Because this right here make a nice little button.
oh, I'm sure it would. What's the total weight on that?
It's about a half ounce.
Oh,
So I'm not drying my gold out and weighing it anymore. I'm just putting it all in the jar. Look how small some of that stuff is. There's some black sand in there too, but
yeah.
you let me know when you're ready for me to dump it out.
Whenever you want.
Whenever I want.
I'm sure they've been ready.
All right, well, let me see if I can resituate this camera to be. How do I flip it around? I can flip it around, can I?
I don't know. It's not my
Oh, there it is.
phone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's see. Then I should be able to. That is that going to fall or stay?
Aaron, you could stand on a street corner for a bit for extra change.
Yeah, that is possible. Let's see what we got here. Okay. All right.
uh, that's what he was talking about, Jeff. And, uh, well, yeah, induction furnace.
All right. So
They're all saying, dump it,
let me
dump
do
it, dump it.
some
Gold
swirl.
porn. Show me some leg. MJ said that, so better show her some leg, Aaron. We want to keep our female prospectors happy.
Check it out. I'm not gonna strip down on camera
AUR, yeah, she said just some legs. I don't want to see nothing. Jeez, it's her.
here.
I'm
There's some sponge gold from
now.
when I tried to retort some stuff and it didn't really work. So there's actually a nugget in there mixed in there with some flour gold that got melted. And then I don't know if Damon's still here or not,
I don't know.
but that right there is a 1 gram button that he made me from some of the gold that I mined.
Nice,
So given that that's 1 gram, you can kind of guesstimate how much is in the pan there. A decent amount. That's a 1 gram button. So I'm saying it's about a half ounce. Not 100%
nice,
sure.
nice.
But yeah, you can see how most of it's super, super small.
Now, AUR Prospector, he says, let's see you pan that black sand out of it. Laugh out loud.
No, I don't want to. I'm not
No.
doing it. I'm not doing it.
No.
It look how small this stuff is, man. Like, you kidding me?
Now,
It, I can
there's,
do it, and I will do it. But
if you want to try a practice on working on some flour gold, get some of Ray Rusaw's dirt from his spot in Juneau, Alaska. Talk about fine talcum powder, fine gold.
oh yeah,
A woman could paint her eyelashes with Ray Rusaw's gold.
yeah. I think this is about in that same range.
Okay, Jeff.
How do I turn this? We get on the gold porn. I'll switch it around. Okay, figure this out. It didn't switch.
Hurry back. Oh, you're back. Welcome back, Joseph.
Ah.
Yeah, and Bobby DeBody said, no, don't touch the mercury.
Yeah, I mean, I did. The weird thing is, so like, I bet you there could be as much as a gram of mercury in that gold that I just showed you. But you can't really tell. Like, if you saw it in person, it doesn't look gold colored. I don't know if you guys could tell. It's kind of grayish looking. It's not like super bright, but the mercury kind of evenly distributes itself across everything. So
Well,
you
that's
can't,
what it will do.
yeah, you
So
can't actually look at it and think that there's mercury on it just by looking at it. You wouldn't know probably.
I had to deal a lot with mercury in Southwest Washington, around where my mom lived, where I went in, because there were a few cinnabar mines in the region. And
Oh
then
goodness.
plus during, because the 49ers from California, they worked their way up north to Northern California, to Oregon, to Washington, British Columbia, out to surrounded states also, and they would use mercury in their lawn toms, and also cinnabar is the ore for mercury. So you get natural occurring mercury up in
Oh yeah.
that
As soon
part
as it
of
oxidizes.
Washington too. I
See,
need to
now I'm putting
melt.
my hand in this water that could have mercury dissolved. Yeah.
Uh, it only makes you go mad and you might lose some teeth or something. Nothing to worry about too bad, Aaron.
Yeah, I try to be a little bit careful. I'm trying to snuff her up every last little speck of it into my bottle here. So
Yeah, it's good to keep
before
your
the cat comes and like jumps on the pan and
right.
like
You might
yeah.
want to snuff it all up. I hate for you try and vacuum it up and panning through it.
Oh
Um,
god.
but I used to do the same thing, Gold Hunter. I would put my amalgam gold separate from my cleaner gold, or
Yeah, yeah.
it will contaminate all your gold.
I've just accepted that all my gold's contaminated. That's the thing is that I find some amount of mercury basically every time. I'm
Right,
I don't I never find zero mercury. There's always at least some mercury mixed in. Like there's a few spots that don't have it. There's a few spots that don't have it. And weirdly enough, one of them, the army doesn't have mercury. So the Army Corps of Engineer, they have. I swear, I think they bought up all the good gold property. But
I guarantee you this. I noticed it on old maps of mining districts out west.
Yeah.
All the better mining districts have ended up becoming part of national parks, national
Yeah.
monuments, uh, wildlife refuges,
Mhm.
and wilderness areas.
Yeah. Well, they're taking these gold-bearing rivers. Well, one of them specifically, the Etowah River, and dammed it up to make it a recreational lake. And they let you pan around there, and the creeks all around there have gold, but there's no mercury for whatever reason.
Hmm.
That's like one of the only places that I don't find mercury.
Not a lot of. Maybe it wasn't hit hard or something.
I don't think so. I think the Army might have snagged it up, or the federal government. I don't know. Yeah, I think there's a conspiracy by the government to take control of all the gold, but it just seems like that all the best places are federal.
Yeah.
So,
Hi, Mary. How are you? Did
oh
someone strip on live? No,
no,
Mary.
definitely not.
You women, I swear. Hey, Mega Silver Stacker, Merry Christmas to you too. Now,
So yeah, I mean, before the show, I was kind of mentioning to you, I'm kind of gonna take things a little bit different direction and focus a lot more on live streaming. So I've really been having fun with the live streaming. I think it's cool. And I don't have to edit. So
you flippin' sound like me,
I don't have
Aaron.
to
You
edit.
sound like me. You
Uh-huh.
know, I did a
Yeah,
lot of
that's what you did. See, I
I
learned out of Ed's playbook.
I used to do a lot of do-it-yourself videos, and that's where Ed in the Shed came from. Then
Gotcha.
I did prospecting ones too, and I kind of had like another day on the stream because, it's another day on the stream. Um, then I was monetized, and they changed the rules to having to have like 5,000 hours or 4,000 hours
Yeah.
of watch time, right?
Yeah.
I had the subscriber count, but I didn't have the watch time, and I figured live would be the best way to accumulate those watch times
Yeah, it does.
to keep my monetization at the time. And it does. It's a great way to build your watch time if you need it. And but I've gotten lazy with my other content. I love the instant gratification with live streaming. I love being able to communicate with people in the lifestyle like you and like Brian Wilder, people from TV shows like Carlos Miner and Kayla and Gary Simpson and other people I've had from shows.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and
It's a lot of
and
fun, huh?
the community right here in the chat room, you know, I
That's what I was trying to say earlier. The community is amazing.
yeah, I love them, and there's a lot of really good personal friends that have become very good friends of mine. Like this guy right here, Robert Tupati. I've known that gentleman for over 10 years now. And
Wow.
it was through prospecting and YouTube that acquainted me with him and his lovely wife and their family. And they're, hell, we all love gold, but you and them and the adventures we have and the new places we see and the friendships we kindle, Isn't that the real gold?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I walked into something entirely new. Yeah, it's a passion that once you catch the bug, the only people that understand you are people who have also caught the bug. So you instantly have something in common with each other that you can
Right,
relate to. When you meet a
right,
stranger, you kind of already know a lot about each other, because you have the same passion. So
right. Yeah, birds of a feather. We're all like-minded, adventurous at heart, and we all love nature, and of course, one thing leads to another. I really liked rocks from a youngster, and that kind of leads into gold prospecting and stuff. And it's like Aaron said before, the community is awesome. Yes, for sure, Gold Hunter,
yeah.
without a doubt.
Best addiction I ever had, says AUR. I
That's,
agree.
yeah, yeah.
I agree. You know,
It's sure a lot better than some of the addictions I've kicked, let me tell you.
yeah. I mean, it, I'm sure it used to be a bad addiction for people that like real gold fever. People would do dangerous things that they know they're risking their life for, just to try to get that little bit of gold. Now, it can become a problem if it gets to that point and you're doing dumb stuff. But other than that, oh, I'm addicted to going outside and playing in the creek. Like that's about as healthy of an addiction as you can get. But yeah, when you start risking your life
Well,
for that,
speaking of that, Aaron, since you brought that up,
uh-oh, did I do something wrong?
no, not at all, not at all, my friend.
Uh-oh.
Uh, what, uh, while you were out prospecting and stuff, what has been the most scariest, terrifying experience you've ever had? If you've had one yet.
Man, I really don't think I have. I when I got scared, I mean, I've had little things like, oh, there was a noise in the woods, and I have that instant, you know, uh, flinching. What's that? But I wouldn't say like it's some traumatizing experience of
Is that a
anything that.
Bigfoot or is that a claim jumper?
I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes there are people that kind of hang out in the woods from a distance. You got some what do they call them? Hill people. I think there's some
Well,
hill people.
the mountains
Yeah,
and
hill people.
hills do have eyes.
Yeah,
But want to know something, Aaron? God's
yeah,
honest truth. I packed every time I went out in the mountains of Washington.
yeah,
I I have a piece right on my hip.
yeah. I understand that.
It's not for bears. It's not for cougars.
Yeah,
It's for two-legged people that get the wrong mindset, that are
yeah,
willing to do harm to someone alone or even a small group of people out prospecting.
you got something for them, huh?
Well, they might think so, and even though you probably don't, they don't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
And like AUR said, um, where was that? It can affect people in different ways. Uh, throughout
Gold.
my throughout my 30 some odd years, over 35 years of gold prospecting, I have come to realize gold will do one of two things to a person's soul. It will show their true soul, I should say.
Oh,
Gold will show their true soul. It, they'll either show the greedy, ugly side of the person or show the caring, nutritious side of the person. It's depending on their viewpoint of wealth and the material. And it often seems to go the more materialistic someone is, the more dangerous they can be when they get the gold bug. They get kind of a Sierra Madre Humphrey Bogart type thing, you know. Just saying, you know.
yeah.
But
No,
yeah, I
I mean,
didn't pack a gun in the mountains for animals. A bear, you
yeah,
can make noise and they'll leave you alone.
yeah,
A cougar, usually if you're going to see a cougar, it's too late because he's already jumping down off a tree or a rock over your head and has you by the back of the neck and your dinner. Okay?
yeah.
Now, but a two-legged beast, one that can think and stuff, like you say, the hills have eyes. We've talked about that earlier. You
Yeah.
don't know their intentions if they're just way back just spying on you. You have
Oh no.
no idea. And unfortunately, nowadays, there's a lot of people with ill intent.
Oh yeah. And I've been doing a lot of urban prospecting recently, or more urban prospecting, and I've been doing it in areas where I know there are homeless camps. So I feel you. I feel you. But usually like I'll go like right up to the homeless camp and be like, "Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing? I'm just over here gold prospecting.
Oh, I've
Don't
done
worry."
the same thing too
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Uh, what was it? Canyon Creek. There was a homeless couple with the kid. I was working a landslide area and it opened up some older river channels and stream channels that I was hitting. And but the only thing that pissed me off, they seemed like a really nice couple, kind of on the hippie side, and they didn't get all judgmental like, "Oh, you're killing Mother Earth" or nothing like that. And but those people, they ended up leaving a mess.
Yeah.
I
I mean that's yeah.
I filled up the back of my truck with trash and took it out of their campsite. But I did take it to the ranger's station and say, "Hey, can I use your dumpster?"
No,
This
we're
ain't
getting
a
to the point
public
of having
dumpster. And I go, "Well, all this trash in the back of my truck came off the U.S. Forest Service land. So, how about it?"
you know, we're getting homeless camps here like California style homeless camps. I
They're
mean,
all over, buddy.
it's
They're all
getting
over.
bad. It's getting bad here. I mean, and I live in a college town. You know, I live in Athens, where
Okay.
the University of Georgia is. So it's a hippie town too, but yeah, huge homeless population, and they have a lot of like big camps in the woods. So yeah, a couple of them are nearby. Some of the new spots I found, but
Yeah,
I didn't have a
last
problem.
time I was in Portland, Rob, it was bad. And even when I was last year, when I went for my mom's funeral and memorial service out west, it's getting bad for sure in Washington, Oregon, California. And it's nicer weather down by you, so I'm
Yeah.
sure they're all over there. Carson, how you doing, brother? He'll be at Yuba too. Carson Prospecting. He's another guy I got to hang out and meet when I was down in California my last time. Had a really good day hanging out with Carson.
I need to go.
Yeah, it's quite the experience. Now, there was something back here, and I'm sure it was related to scary moments. Where was that comment? It was about big hairy spiders or something. I think it was by Ohio Relic Hunter. Oh, I can't find it no more, doggone it. But you never had nothing startle you on the river, huh?
Not like where I really felt in danger. And I just thought the scariest moment probably was one time when I was dredging, and the exhaust was right upwind from the tip of my snorkel, and
Oh,
yeah, and so
got
I
a
got
headache
quite a
and
bad headache. Yeah, and didn't know what was going on. I'm like getting this headache, and I'm still sitting there sucking up rocks. And yeah, didn't even think that that was a possibility that I was getting carbon monoxide poisoning. So that
yeah,
was kind of scary after the fact. Like, wow, I could have just like fell asleep and never woke up again.
yeah, that's the one, Bill. He says, he said, "Come on, you didn't see a really, really, really big spider or something."
I'm not afraid of spiders. I'm not afraid of snakes.
Now you've
So
never have run-ins with like cottonmouths or water moccasins,
I've never seen a water moccasin here. I see lots and lots and lots of just regular old water snakes.
right?
But venomous snakes, actually, I've never even seen I've seen one copperhead in Georgia, but not when I was prospecting.
Hmm. Well, that's a
So,
good thing.
yeah, so I mean, I'm not scared of snakes. If I accidentally step on one, then that would not be awesome, but it hasn't happened yet. So, but yeah, when you're in the woods and you're by yourself and you hear a branch snap, and you're like, and then you look for a second, okay, what was that? But I mean, I wouldn't call that being like a terrifying moment or anything like that.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I saw a nest of cottonmouths at oh, Bill, you comedian. Ohio Relic Hunter says, I saw a nest of cottonmouths at an Ozzy concert once.
I bet, I bet you did. Uh,
Right, right.
that's crazy. Yeah, we don't have grizzly bears. Yeah, they say that a firearm is not that great of a way to stop a bear anyway.
Man,
Um, that bear spray is actually better.
I'd use bear spray, but I'm not out there hunting for game. I'm out there hunting for cool rocks and minerals.
Yeah,
So I'll actually walk through the woods with my staff and I'll be hitting the bushes
making all kinds of
and
noise. Yeah,
saying, yo bear, scat cat, yo bear, scat cat, until
I
I
want
get
to see a cat. I
in.
do want to see a cat. I want to see
Well,
like a 40-pound cat, like not a
well,
giant one. I don't want to see a 300-pound cat, but I
I'd
think it,
rather see them from afar and be able to take a picture than meet up with one on a hike with a backpack on me.
yeah, I would be ready. I would be ready. I'm prepared. But no, anybody can get caught by surprise, even if you think you have a
True,
plan.
true.
Uh, yeah, and cats they will stalk you. So I mean, they say there's no cats here, but I know they're wrong. So
Evergreen Prospector says my brother got bit the hell up by a grizzly. Man,
that's crazy.
lucky thing he's alive, brother. Mooses are impressive close up. Yeah. Saw my only moose in Vermont. No, actually Maine. Sorry, Maine. Not far from Lake Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire.
I haven't seen a moose
Fat
quite
chance
yet.
of anything out of a zoo down in the southeast. You'll
No,
have to
I mean
come
obviously not.
venture up to Canada or Maine or
Yeah,
something.
no. Yeah, I mean, and I've been to New York, but I've never been like out in the country, in the Northeast.
Well,
So I've never been to Maine.
that that um that might all change, Look what it's done for guys like Vogas and Dan Hurd and Pioneer Polly and stuff. It's brought up huge opportunities to travel for guys like that in our community.
I mean, that's what I was wondering.
Grandma Kelly, she travels all over. Like that JP Lanzamore guy, he
Yeah.
takes advantage of traveling too.
I mean, if I could do any job in the entire world, it would be to travel around to different parts of the country and meet people that find gold and make videos about it. That would be like the ultimate dream job.
There you
But for
go.
now, I gotta work 5 days at
I
a
I hear
regular
you,
job.
brother.
Yeah.
What do you do for work?
It is a sales job, so that's about as detailed as I want to be.
Okay,
We're gonna keep the work life separate. Let me put it this way: it is a Fortune 500 company, so
right on, right on.
yeah,
Enough
I try to
said.
keep my YouTube life separate from my sales life.
Right. I
So
build buildings and stuff, but my bosses know about my YouTube. They work with me around my YouTube, and they know not to keep me over too long on Tuesdays.
that's good. That's good. No, everybody pretty much knows if it's the weekend, I'm in the hills. So during the week, I work a regular job. I'm literally a weekend gold miner, just like the name of the club I'm in.
Right.
So
Terry Curry says, Aaron, I use bear banners instead of bear spray. Works on bears, coyotes, etc. People too. Cheap and easy to carry.
I don't know what a bear banger is. I have no idea.
Gold Hunter 77. Do you do all your own editing and what equipment do you utilize?
So yes, I do all my own editing and I record on a cell phone. And then I have a free app that I use on my cell phone to do all the editing. So I got a pretty nice phone, a Galaxy S23 Ultra. But yeah, nothing fancy here. I have a GoPro, but I don't use it that much because it adds so many extra steps. Because then I got to take the memory card and I got to hook it up and transfer it here, then transfer it there, and then it's just you know a pain. So I keep it super simple. Yeah, it's the app is called VN Editor. It's free, and that's the only thing I use. So it's pretty easy.
There you
Right.
go. I've seen more moose in the last 10 years than I did growing up. Where are
I'm ready
you
for
from, Mega Silver Stacker?
Kansas City. Oh, where are they from? Okay.
Elk can be trained to Elk can be trained to be raised like cattle. Yeah, yeah. We have elk farms here.
Huh. Elk Farms.
Colorado. Okay, okay. Yeah, there's several elk farms and bison farms around me here in the Midwest.
That's weird. They farm it for the meat or what?
Yeah, elk's
That's
pretty
weird.
tasty.
Yeah. No,
Uh, but
it's kind of
I don't know, there's some people that raise and sell exotic animals. They raise the bison for the meat.
in the hide probably.
Yeah, buffalo burgers are yummy. If you're ever in Skagit Valley in a place called Marble Mount on your way to um, like some of the higher regions of the Skagit River in Marble Mount, there's a really good buffalo burger joint. Aaron, very loud firecracker, as loud as a shotgun going off, shoots about 40 feet. Don't have to worry which way the wind is blowing, like with bear spray.
Huh. So it's a really loud noise. It's hmm.
I
I don't
used
know.
to live not too far from Marble Mount. Well, okay, let me see. It was about 20 miles upriver from me, MJ. Marble Mount's is pretty far up the Skagit River, but do me a do yourself a favor. If you're ever in Washington, get out of Seattle, get out of Vancouver, head north, one county south of the border. You'll have Whatcom County, then Skagit Valley. When you get to Burlington area on I-5, head east on Highway 20. You'll go through Burlington, Cedar-Woolley, Lyman, Hamilton, Birds View, Concrete, following the beautiful Skagit River up into the North Cascades National Park. And I'm not going to say uh, I, I am me. I could probably tell you a couple of places that you could find some nice shiny there and probably hook you up with some people I know there. But beautiful area, and then you could try the buffalo burgers in Marble Mount. It's right
Uh,
before you get to like Diablo Lake and Diablo Dam area, and then on up into the North Cascade National Park. Well,
yeah,
yeah,
I need
all
to
of
spend more time in the
Western
park.
Washington's beautiful evergreen, beautiful state, and I miss it every flippin' day. But then again, Eastern Washington's beautiful too. It's, Washington kind of reminds me of California in a way because you could go from like high desert to rolling plains to uh, mountains with cascading brooks and stuff, and go out to the ocean to a beautiful coastline. Yeah, I know too, Bill, huh? Making us both homesick. I've been sharing quite a few pictures from Washington on my Facebook, actually. My last one was the north face of Mount St. Helens.
For
Uh,
some reason, you don't show up in my algorithm too much on Facebook. I'm gonna have to go check that out. It's so weird. Like the
I, I
people that I want to hear from, they don't show up in my feed.
I don't post a bunch of stuff, and I never post like personal problems and stuff. I don't bitch about people. Most posts, I'll switch my avatar sometimes. My profile picture. I'll switch my my header picture maybe once a week, once every other week. and then I share stuff like from Bill Brewer, from Brewers Prospecting, and some other channels and stuff. Um, and and then I share my show on Tuesdays before I
Yeah.
go live. But yeah, I don't know. Facebook's kind of weird.
Yeah. I don't know. It gets to be a lot if you're trying to do Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and Rumble and Patreon. Like it's a lot.
Yeah, it is, a lot
They
of
all have,
work, and the more you add, the more work.
yeah.
And yes, Hobo, Western Oregon is beautiful. I love like Southwest Oregon, Gold Hill, um, Bend is Central Oregon, but that's pretty too. Um, yeah, Medford, Applegate, Cave Junction. Boy, stop it, guys. I'm getting homesick for the West Coast period. Yeah, you need to travel, Aaron.
I know, I know, I
I
know.
know, but work gets in the way, the budget gets in the way, you
Yeah,
know, that damn four-letter word, work.
yeah, it happens.
Now, at the Christmas party this year, Aaron, my boss was talking to me, and I was trying to get her to grub stake me. I'm like, just think, Sarah. I know people that know people, and we could talk to producers, and we could have the struggling construction crew that went to Alaska to find their riches and gold. And you just help me a little bit, grub stake me about $250,000 or so, and I'll get it. I'll get it going. She didn't really bite on it though, but hey, I gotta try. um Now, since you cover various aspects of gold prospecting, are there specific areas or techniques you find particularly interesting or challenging? And if so, why?
I mean, as far as techniques, like I pretty much arrived at my favorite way to get gold. It's the pan, and that's like the exact opposite of everybody. But I just really enjoy the panning part of it. I mean, sluicing is fun, but panning is a challenge. Um, but the more you do it, I think the better you are at panning. You Too many people get into the hobby, they get a high banker, and then they get a dredge, and then they go high bank and dredge, and they don't even know how to pan. So it's just I don't know. I like that feeling of feeling like I'm one of the old timers that just using a pan and a shovel.
I
Um,
do like myself getting back to the basics and just sometimes going around and prospecting with nothing but a pan. And you're on a good point too, Aaron. What does it begin with? What should it begin with?
Prospecting.
A gold pan, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What does it end with?
A gold fan, yeah.
So it pays to be a proficient panner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do a lot of pan and shovel only, where I'm not allowed to have a high banker or a sluice or a dredge in a lot of places, and so I mine with the pan. So I don't just prospect with a pan. Like I move
Well,
volume.
so you have to move a lot of material. And
That's I
here's
got a pan that's like that big.
now GoPro Unlimited just says, like I've stated many, many times, right, Jeff? Starts with the pan, ends with the pan.
Yeah.
Yep, sounds familiar, huh, Jeff? Right?
Yeah.
uh,
No, I enjoy it. But
yeah,
what they say, once you have been doing it for a certain amount of time, then your back's blown out and you won't like panning as much because you won't be able to do it. That's what everybody tells me. But so far so good. I got a strong back. No problems there.
Evergreen says I started with the pan, bought all the gear, sold the gear, mostly just use a pan.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, it's
And
it
some,
opens
go ahead.
no, so it opens up a lot more area for me if I'm just going to use a pan. So like the place I've been live streaming from, Yahula Creek Park, all I can do is use a pan there. So but that's still a cool place. And I'm gonna do lots of live streaming from there. So it's gonna be interesting to see how many people start showing up at the park. So everybody's gonna figure out, okay, he's live streaming, he's doing it on the weekends, and he's doing it at Yahula Creek Park. Eventually people are gonna find out and start showing up, and I mean I think that's gonna be interesting to see. So but yeah,
MJ, get a hold of me on Facebook. I know we're friends. I have a friend in Skagit Valley.
a
Uh,
pan with a wheelbarrow.
could probably help you out. Yeah, and I saw Joseph's comment there too. Aaron pans with the wheelbarrow, basically.
One second.
Hard to get concentrate with just the pen. Yeah, yeah. I sluice to save my back, but look at that thing.
Oh, it still got clay stuck to it that I was too lazy to break up at the creek. So I was just like, I'll just stick the clay to it. So there's probably gold right there.
It
But
could.
you
Eventually,
can
it will work
kind
its
of mix
way
that
in.
thing. It makes the Garrett Super Sluice look small.
I'll talk to my friend Rick. He lives up towards Concrete in Skagit Valley. He has some good places. I still wish I had my claims up on Finney Creek, MJ. I'd let you go. How many inches is that pan?
Pretty sure it's 16.
Hmm.
It might be 17. I don't know. I don't have a. Let's,
I agree, Evergreen. I agree. Find a local club or a local chapter, join it. It will open up ground, open up people with experience, and I think every single newcomer, especially, should join a club, and
it
it's
can.
even
Yeah.
good for people that's been in it for years.
Yeah. Although, like I said, it
Oh,
seems like a not of high, a very low percentage of the people in my club actually dig for gold. It's so weird.
MJ, I used to belong to some of those clubs too. Bedrock Prospectors out of Puyallup, Northwest Prospecting and Mining. I think that's out of Everett. Or is that the one out of Portland? Oh no, Washington State Prospectors and Mining Association, who I belong
Can't
to.
find
I think
Somebody wanted me to put the super sluice inside it, but I couldn't find the super sluice. So here's a 10-inch pan. It's the best I can do for size
yeah,
comparison.
that's a pretty good pan. I just banned someone on your FVP for showing other porn. Cool, thanks, because ever since my old account got hacked, I can't even moderate my own group anymore, Mr. Lodak. Thank you.
Yeah, Robert said he waited until he was 40. Well, you know what? I waited until I was 40 as well. 41 actually. So you know.
Do I want you to sing, Mary? Sure. I don't know if anyone will hear you though. Well, time's really flown by, Aaron. It's already after 10.
Well, dang it, man. You talk too much, Ed. No,
I
I'm just playing.
I know I'm terrible about it. Didn't even let you get a word in edgewise, did I, brother?
No, I think it was the opposite.
Well, I still have post-production work, but if you ever want to listen to to the show while you're on the road and stuff, you can always catch the replay. Besides here on YouTube, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and other podcast sites. I want to thank all the podcast listeners on those sites also, along with all of you who are in the Treasure Fam and the Flash Fam. And my guest, I got to thank you, Aaron, for joining us tonight. It's
No problem,
been
sir.
great
Be glad
having
to come back,
you.
sir.
Been great having you back joining us.
Yeah, be glad to come back soon. I
Well,
think that might be
you will be actually, everybody. Mark your calendars today. On the 30th of January, Aaron's going to be my guest co-host when we have Justin from Lost River Gold joining us. That should be a really good show. I'll talk to Justin about having some good treasure porn. He's not only a good prospector, he's very knowledgeable on semi-precious stones and precious stones and a whole library of knowledge on outdoor living, period.
yeah,
Uh,
for sure. For sure. Good friend.
and one day I'll meet him too on the river, I hope. But next week, oh, wait, do me a favor on Spreaker, on Relic Radio, tomorrow, on Thursday, pardon me, on the 21st, I am going to be the guest. DK and Tony over at Relics Radio starting at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. One's Adventures with Dirt, that's DK here on YouTube. Bill, can you please help me out? What's Tony's channel's name? He's from Colorado, so it has something to do with the altitude of Denver. And come on, Bill. Help me, Bill. Help me. Help me. But I'll be on their podcasts over at Spreaker live on the 21st, starting at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Relics Radio, it's a podcast over on Spreaker every Thursday night at 7:45. A couple of YouTubers do it. They're really good guys. They've been guests on my show before, both of them. Really good detectorists, but they have played around with gold panning, and they're really good guys. It'd be nice. It'd make my job a little easier, or if I had another regular co-host. Yes, 5280 Adventures, Tony, and Adventures in Dirt with DK. Relics Radio, Thursdays, 7:45 p.m. So I hope to see you there if you come. Thank you for supporting me in advance. All of you, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And I'd also like to thank our friend from down under, Terry Marshall, Opal Hunter, and Gold Miner for the $14.99 super chat. I greatly appreciate it. Now on the 26th, we have Shane from Ohio River History join me with special guest. Well, he's my special guest. Guest co-host will be Rose from Treasure Vixen and Rose Knows Treasure. She'll be joining me again as a co-host. You're more than welcome, Brad, but thank you all for putting up with an old guy like me who enjoys sitting here talking to people about gold prospecting and treasure hunting. Again, thank you very much, Aaron. Thank you,
Yes, sir.
everybody out there. Until next time, may you always have a flash in your pen. And you all know what I like to say. Maybe one day, too, we'll meet you on the river. It does happen. And so you never know. But this very second, right now, we're out of here.
Peace.
Yeah. Thank you all. Merry Christmas. We'll see you before the new year. It does happen, right, Brewer? You know, bro.
3, 2, 1.